All right, how's it going, guys? So today we have the E90 up on the lift, of course, and we're just doing a few things to it. Try not to get too crazy with it, trying to fix that misfire issue. That'll be a video for the future. However, today I'm going to show you what to look for when you're buying an XDRIVE car. All right, so what we're going to look for here, first of all, I'm trying to move the light as we go. We've got many things going on. We're at the front of the car right now. Now, before you can check any of this stuff, you need to get a lift or at least be able to jack it up and get underneath of it, which may be kind of hard to do, depends on the situation. But if they let you take it to a garage before you buy one of these cars, you could also do this. So, first things first, you're going to want to look at the CV axles, the front CV axles. You're going to grab it and give her a twist back and forth and see if there's any play in it. While you're up here, also look at the front control arms, stick a pry bar in there, give those a little wiggle, go back here and take a look at the boot for the thrust arm. Make sure that bushing, not the boot, the bushing. For the thrust arm, make sure that bushing is not messed up. Make sure it has no issues at all. You can also grab it, twist around on it. A lot of times you can look in there and see if it's all dry rotted and cracked out. So once you've done that, check the other side. While you're here, go ahead and check the tie rods. Look for any kind of dry rottedness around the boots, on the lower control arms, tie rods, any of that stuff. Look for oil leaks. This one's got a little wetness from that damn valve cover when we did it. But I think that's pretty much all we got as far as oil leaks on this car. Next, we're gonna go back to the number one failure point on any XDRIVE anything is the front drive shaft. And a lot of times you can see in here, if you look up in here at the U-joint, right? Let me try to, can I even get any closer or not? Probably not. If you see a lot of rusty stuff in there, like a rusty dust, it could be bad. Now, to remove this, only you can check it truly is you remove it. It's 4 bolts for these E-Torques, and if you take that off, let me zoom this baby back out. If you take that off, you could then wiggle the joint and tell if it's bad. Most of these cars, when I get them in, that is totally shot and it's making noise. You can also check the front, but to be honest, the front on these, the front U-joint isn't really near as prone to go bad. You check it the same way. You just kind of look all up in there and see if there's any issues with that. So here we have the transfer case, and we had the drain plug. The fill plug on this E90, I think it's up around the back side somewhere, I don't remember. It's been too long since I looked at it. But you could also, if you really wanted to, you could crack that just a little bit and just get a little trickle of fluid out and check the state of it. If you're real careful, you could also do that with the pan. Now this is a GM transmission, so it does have the metal pan and the separate filter. Chances are yours will be a ZF transmission. It'll be a little different setup, but it still has a drain plug. You can still barely crack it, see what kind of fluid's in it, and take a look at that. That'll tell you a lot about the car and how long it's going to last you. So rolling on to the back here, bringing a light along with us. This car is really difficult to see it. But if you have a 5 Series, you can actually look up by this 10 piece up here. And most of the time, let me flip the whole screen out here. I don't know if I could see you guys. There we are. A lot of times you can see the Gleebo bushing, which is like a rubber bushing up in there, right? This car, you can't really see it. However, you can see it on the rear. So I'm going to show you this one. And most of the time, these don't have this on the rear. It's only on the front of the rear drive shaft, but you can see up in here the rubber bushing. You can see this one's starting to get some dry rot cracks in it, and that's telltale sign it's on its way out. This one's pretty much never been replaced, so there is that. Definitely check all that out. Check for any kind of rust too. Like this car is from New York. It has a little bit of surface rust, but nothing that's really jumping out at me. No doubt. Okay, so move on to the rear here. The rear diff, which is right here, obviously. You can do the same thing on that. You go in here and you can actually drain a little bit. Where is this one at? Where is this one even at? I think that's the fill. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know where the drain plug's at on this one, but there's the fill. I wonder if one of the case bolts drained this one or what happened. But you could loosen one of those up. You could take a little sample of the fluid and see what's going on in there. See if anybody's ever changed it and so forth. While you're underneath there, take a good look at all the exhaust, all that kind of stuff. And then over here on these rear control arms, I can see a little bit of a crispy situation going on up here at that bushing. Well, maybe not too bad. And check all that stuff. Check all the bushings you possibly can. On these E90s, I didn't realize these actually had a shock and a separate coil spring. They're not coilovers. You can check all your rear sway bar links. What's your back here also, which is right up there. Those are all cheap and easy to replace if you're able to that yourself. And this video might be more of a have your mechanic watch this video and look at stuff and do that. Now, you remember a few videos ago, you saw me adjusting these rear camber bolts. You could also do that on this car. This car is set up a little bit different. It does have an upper control arm, like the E60s, E39s. These aren't near as prone to go out though. But the same way, you can also adjust it. You can set your camber to 0 back here and all that kind of stuff. You can see everything looks pretty good on this thing. And while you're up on the lift, if you come over here, you can actually look in to the caliper, top or bottom. You can see you can barely see where it meets the disc at, exactly how much it has left. You probably can't see nothing with this. Look how corroded those wheels are. Look a lot worse on camera than they do in real life. And while you're up here, don't forget to check the rear CV axles. Same way, you give them a little clickety-clack, grab the wheel, do a little bit of that. Just kind of check everything out. All your brake lines, check all that stuff where they bend, where they make any kind of bend, and make sure there is no dry rot cracks anywhere in that, and so forth. So that's pretty much it. I mean, all-wheel drive is a lot more stuff. Obviously, you have two more CV axles, a transfer case. You know, you have a front diff, let alone a rear diff. There's a lot of stuff to deal with. Now, let alone all that, you also have more electronics to deal with. You also have a whole different ABS system because it has to run that. You have all the DSC system that runs the four-wheel drive system, let alone the standard DSC like these other cars that are only two-wheel drive. So whenever you want to program something, want to do something electronically to the car, there's a little more stuff you have to go through, right? And it's not really too big a deal if you're aware of it, and you just got to know what you're doing. I mean, other than that, you have more sets of tire wear a lot of times. You kind of control that if your wheels are not staggered like these are. If they're not staggered, you can rotate them a lot. If they're staggered on an all-wheel drive car, you can't do anything. You could swap them left or right, but then if they're directional, like these wheels are and tires are, you can't really do anything at all. You cannot rotate anything. So eventually it's going to wear them out. It's kind of unfortunate. It's kind of the same way really whether the car is four-wheel drive or two-wheel drive. Once you have staggered wheels with directional tires, that's it, right? And you're starting to see a little bit on eBay when you go to buy wheels and tires, they'll actually charge you a little bit more for a square setup for the same size front and rear than a staggered setup. Stagger might look a little cooler to you. Are the people really gonna notice? No, they're not. Then you gotta buy two different size tires. You gotta make 100% they're exactly the right size, and on and on and on. There's many layers of it. If you have somebody working or gonna be working on your car that knows what they're doing, it's not that big of a deal. If you yourself know what you're doing, it's still not that big of a deal. You just have to be aware of a lot of things on an all-wheel drive car. It is nice. You can take off from a rainy stop sign and just stand on it and it'll take off, or snow. or if you're coming home, you're out somewhere pretty far away, you start getting a little bit of snow or a little bit of ice, you're not totally screwed, right? Here, you know, everything's on a hill where I live at. So if you back up and get off the driveway just a little bit in a two-wheel drive, you're done. An all-wheel drive, you just back up and take right off. There's benefits to it, but you just have to figure out, is it worth extra money, the extra hassle to deal with XDRIVE? That all depends on your situation. That's going to be it, guys. Talk to you very soon. Some more videos on this thing. See you later. Have a good day.